Cool, it's being recorded. So welcome to the Launch with Pride Challenge, where I'm helping LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs grow their impact and income using authentic marketing. Yesterday, we talked about defining a vision and a purpose, because at the end of the day, in my mind, we're launching with pride, right? So it has to align with who we are and what we're doing, and we can be proud of it. So we talked about pride and our purpose. So having that to set the foundation that the rest of our building, our business will be built on top of. Our marketing plan will also be built on top of that. So by having the vision and purpose, it's our compass so that we can make good decisions that align with who we are and who we want to be and how we want our future world to become. So that's a little summary of yesterday. And then back to this marketing funnel. Again, the idea of marketing is to help people go through this process, go through this journey. So by having our foundations, it'll help us know at what stage, what we should be talking about, and how we can talk about it so that we can speak to our customers where they are instead of maybe where we want them to be. So we can help them go there. So we're going to be going through this throughout the week. And as we add different elements, we're always just going to sort of come back to this because this is going to be, okay, at this phase, here's how we take our purpose and use it to create our efforts. At this other phase, here's how we take our product, our offer, and connect it here. And that is actually today's topic. So pride in your product. When I use the word product, I mean your offer. So it could be your service, it could be your site, it could be the physical products that you sell, but it is, what are you providing to the customer? Yeah. So being that this is a queer challenge for LGBTQ plus people, here's a question. How much buying power does the LGBTQ plus community have? You can enter a guess in the chat if you would like. I know the idea of the answer, but I'd rather have this be a little more interactive. And at the moment, I can't see Facebook. So I'm hoping everyone just came over here. Okay, Teresa says trillions, and you are correct. You are correct. According to multiple sites on the internet, what I got was 1.6 trillion for the US and 3.9 trillion worldwide. Some of the stats for this also include certain allies or bigger organizations that sort of support, but that's still a lot of buying power. And like I said yesterday, as entrepreneurs in our community, we get to see the problems that exist up close, and we get to create productive solutions that can actually solve those problems. Literally, my definition of entrepreneurship is solving problems for people. And my goal, my vision is to see a self-sustainable LGBTQ plus community with successful businesses that sort of help keep our resources growing and supporting all members within our community. So marketing, this is from yesterday as well, right? Marketing is communicating the benefits of our product or service so that we can get those customers. So the idea of this whole week is to think about, how do we communicate best so that we can help our future customers become customers and provide that value, solve those problems, and have them experience those outcomes. So today, we're going to focus on the what. The product or the service that you sell is a what, and it's part of this solution. And that's what we're going for. So all today, it's going to be, what are we selling? What services are we providing? How are we helping? In what way does that help? So we're going to start with some pitfalls. The most common pitfalls when it comes to a product or service or our offer I'm going to use all three of those words interchangeably, and I might just say offer, I might say product moving forward. So the biggest pitfall is it would be disconnected from people. As someone in the software development space, I've seen a lot of good ideas from smart tech people who have a great solution, but they haven't really connected with the users. So when they do provide that out, it doesn't gain any traction. People don't want to use it. It doesn't help them, even though it could help them. They're not able to get across those usability issues to actually be able to experience the benefits of the product. They never get past the second or third screen, and they're not able to really, the product isn't able to be a success because it's disconnected from the people it's supposed to serve. Another pitfall is perfection. When it comes to offers and products, sometimes it's not the best product that wins. It's not everything is perfect, and that is why this person has more customers. It is not the person with the most PhDs and the most knowledge who is the smartest in the room who actually may get the customers. And sometimes I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck trying to update the thing that they're working on. Before they release the app, it's got to be so much better. Before they release their movie or their music, it can be better. It can be better. And I am not one to say that we should put out things that are low quality, but I do think that sometimes perfection gets in the way of getting that product out there and helping people to connect with it. The third one is complex processes. I purposefully named that one complex processes because it's overdoing, just, it's probably a better way to say that. But sometimes we are very smart. And it comes through in our marketing. It comes through in the titles that we give things. It comes through in the product names, where we're so focused on what it really is that we forget that it's going to be used by a person. And there's a way to, and if we can simplify how we talk about it, if we can simplify how someone uses it, that in and of itself may help the product succeed because more people can understand. In marketing, part of our goal is to tell people why this is important and why it's for them. And if we're using too big words, if we're using complicated language, they have to now do that effort in their brain to say, I think this is what it means, and then they have to connect the dots. So the simpler it is, the easier it is for you to explain it and connect the dots for your potential customers, your new customers. And then the last one is price versus value. When it comes to pricing product, it can be challenging because if I think about coaching practices, there are many coaches who have a bunch of different rates. Some will charge as little as $50 an hour. Some may charge, 5-figure coaching programs for 6 months or a year. And there are some people who say you should charge what you're worth. And in my mind, there's 2 ways to look at that. One, with what we're worth, we are all infinite valuable people. No one can pay the price for me, right? And no one can pay the price for any of you. But when it comes to our time, it's, okay, what's the value that we can actually give to someone else? So when it comes to pricing, one of the challenges is to find that strategic price where if you give me $10, I'm not going to give you $10 of value. But instead, if you give me 10, I'm going to give you $100 of value. I'm going to give you 50 or 100 or more than that. Why? Because it will help the product succeed. Yeah, it'll help the product succeed. If you give me $10 and I give you $10 of value, that's sort of equal. And that's cool. But like, if you give me 10 and I give you $100 of value, that's so much easier to market and to sell and to keep growing. So those are some pitfalls when it comes to products and offers. So now we're sort of going to do, a lot of this is going to be some questions that go back and forth and just helping you think about new ways to look at your offer and your product. So this first question here is, what industry are you in? In a way, everything that exists, all of our products, services, and offers can fall into one of these three. So health, wealth, and relationships. So health includes definitely physical health. So in terms of exercise, diets, medical types of things. And also that may include spiritual health. That may include emotional health, mental health as well. So if you're coaching, maybe life coaching, some of that is actually going to be, more mental health or emotional health. Wealth can be anything from a new job, something that helps people with money, right? Money, career, lifestyle, housing, all of these things that we can buy with money or learn more about developing skills so that we can work and create more value in the world. And that can also include things like art and teaching people, new skills, languages, if they can use that in that way. And then there's also relationships. So dating coaching, marriage, counseling, connecting with other people around you, civic engagement. Those are different things that would fall into these buckets. And these are big buckets, high level. So you might actually be in more than one. So when I think about travel, like a travel agent, that's going to be in relationships if you like to travel with other people, but that can also be, like mental or emotional health, being able to get away and relax and recover. So part of the reason why this is the first question is just thinking of it at a high level, so that when it comes down to how you explain what you do, or why someone would work with you, or why someone should take your offer, you can think about, are they going to come to me from a health perspective or wealth perspective or relationships perspective? Because if they're coming at you from relationship perspectives and you're talking about making more money or saving money on your vacation, that doesn't quite align. But if they're coming to you for a, like in the travel case, if it's here's a good thing to do for your honeymoon, now it's like, okay, this is a relationship type of offer. Yeah, and it might change also as the seasons go on, right? In tax season, people might have more money and they might be thinking about a trip to enjoy that and celebrate that success. In the summer, it might be wedding season. In the holiday season, it might be visiting families. So being able to think about why someone is coming to you and then meeting them there would be helpful. And that's one way to start narrowing your focus a little bit. The other thing, all businesses are solving problems. And the goal is to solve problems for money, for value. So 2 ways to see problems are people avoiding pain or seeking growth. So when you are talking about your product, it's which one are you doing? Are you calling them to a higher level? Well, yeah, we're always calling people to a higher level, but are they wanting to go up or are they wanting to stop pain? So one example would be a chiropractor or physical therapist. Is someone like wanting to run a marathon, so they have to train and they want to make sure their joints are aligned or whatever chiropractors do, or is someone recovering from an injury and they're wanting to get back to normal? So like those are 2 different directions for the same service. So thinking about what your specific product is in terms of that, that's another lens you can use to say, okay, this is more for people who are seeking growth. So when I talk about it, how do I use examples of people seeking growth so that they can see themselves in my product? And if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Yeah, so what industry and what type of problem are you solving generally? Yeah, so when it comes to your offer again, we're right back to the problems you solve. So this is going to be one of the questions in the homework assignment. But when you think about your product, what problems is it solving? And I would love for people to put something in the chat. So what is your offer or product or service? And if you have an idea of what problem you believe it solves. And I will wait as I check the Facebook in a different window. And if not, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at one of the homework assignments. Okay, I'm a travel agent. I believe it brings people together. I tend to focus on groups. Okay, so with that, can you think of a problem can you think of a way you can frame a problem where your services are the solution? I have some ideas already, but I would love for. Okay, so I'm seeing some more problems. So Lauren and Rachel, financial representatives, and they address the issue of financial illiteracy. That's a good problem. Nice. That's a good definition of a problem. And then Teresa, the fear of going alone and the fear of the cruise itself. Yeah, that helps when it comes to going on cruises. I know when I've been thinking about them and I told certain friends that I got different reactions. Some people were just like, why you would be stuck on a boat forever? That sounds terrible. But, others who've done it before didn't have that. And it was actually a good experience being on a cruise with 20 friends. But yeah, so those are some problems. And now if you look at that, one more problem for the app for civic engagement, overcoming the powerlessness of being an individual in the policy landscape. Okay, so what I love about all three of those problems, they're all slightly different. And there's one thing that's a little missing. And that sort of goes into the second bullet on this when it comes to the outcomes. So for example, financial illiteracy. How would your customer, what words would your customer use to describe that problem? Because there are some people who don't know how stocks works or retirement accounts or any of that is, but they might not say, I'm financially illiterate. They might word the problem in a different way. And I think when it comes to marketing, especially when it comes to the products and when it comes to us who are creating products and trying to help people, sometimes we can get so focused in the world that we're in that we forget people are on the outside. We're like a fish swimming in water. We know what our water is like. Awesome. I love that. So at first, thank you for putting that in the chat. The first time you said it, you're addressing the issue of financial illiteracy. And then you use your client's words. It says, I don't know where my money is going. So like, just imagine if you were on Facebook or driving on a car and there was a billboard and it said, stop being financially illiterate versus find out where your money is really going. Right? That second one is a little more, okay, I get that. If I'm not a budgeter, if I'm not someone who pays attention every month, finding out where my money is going, that connects already to where I am. And in theory, it's the same thing, right? It's just a different word. It's just different words said in the way that the customer is actually using it. So like, when it comes to even like with the cruise, fear of going alone, I'm not sure. I don't know where to go with that. But yeah, like the fear of going alone isn't something that you solve with your services. unless it is. And if it is, then it's like, I'm your travel mate who doesn't have to go, who doesn't have to share the room with you if you're on a cruise. Or the problem that they have is, they want to be on a cruise, but they're scared of getting sick or water sickness, motion sickness, that's what they call it. So thinking about it from their side, so thinking of those problems in their words. And then the second one as well, the outcomes you provide, because I think that's amazing as well. And that helps people see that vision again, that we were talking about. So with the idea of the Gen Pop social, overcoming the powerlessness of being an individual in policy landscape, that is a problem, especially in the US, where, there are many bills that are happening throughout Congress's time. And I personally don't know how to feel like I make an impact in that, right? I get to vote every 2 years or every 4 years, but how do I make that impact? So possibly an outcome that you can say is, making so what you said here was finding common ground with your peers. That's cool, but also we do want to connect it to the offer itself. So connecting with people to change the laws or to have your voice heard in the law to make an impact in what gets passed. Thinking about that outcome. Because I think, thinking about that outcome. Because you can have both, right? We want to make a change in the laws because we see that there are a lot of negative laws that are coming through that's not helping all of our communities and are targeting some others and leaving people left out. So we want to be able to create more inclusive laws on the books. And one of the problems you solve is, that powerlessness, that I don't know, apathy. So the apathy with our politics. Because when you talk about politics in certain places, people are just like, it doesn't matter. No one's ever going to listen to us and care. So you can be solving that apathy with the whole political system. And these are just ways to think about how we talk about what we're doing so that people can understand our offer. And that's what that third bullet's about. It's about your customer. How does that customer think about what are they thinking of? Especially when it comes to new things or new products that are very different. You have to sort of meet people where they are to help them understand. Because most people will probably not say they're financially illiterate. They will say something like, things are too complicated, right? Even if I think about maybe taxes, right? It's not that I can understand the taxes, it's more the taxes are too complicated for me. And that slight difference helps you connect with the customer because now they are in the story and they are part of it. So let's see what the next one is. Okay, so this is a little different of a slide. So the other thing I wanted to say was when it comes to your offer, you are selling a service, but if you're only selling the one thing, does that provide all the solutions they need? So this is more for someone who's more in the coaching spaces, but it's a little bit different. So I think about with the travel agent, right? You said people have a fear of going alone. So are there ways you can sell community with that? And I tend to always go to community because that's one of my one of my values. Even with the idea of the civic engagement app, you're finding common ground with your peers. So it's okay, yes, you can make an impact in policy, but you can also connect with other people who are interested in that same kind of impact. Because for me anyway, community is a big thing. So it's not just me going and sending a letter to my representative. It can be something like me working in my local space so we can send a bunch of letters to our representatives. I can connect with other people who care about this issue, and we can rally together to make more of our voice heard. So thinking about how can I add other things to what I'm doing? What certain things used to do, like on Facebook back in the day, you can like put a little thing around a badge on your profile to be like, I donated to this cause, or I support this other cause. So thinking about ways to help people not just connect with the service, but help them connect on a deeper level. So when it comes to maybe traveling, it's, I helped you do this, right? Like I helped you plan your trip. But what else can I add to that? Can I give you a little, I don't know, like a discounts on the local queer scene things, queer bars or queer spaces. If you're going on a cruise, you're going to stop at these locations. It's like, okay, these are places we've heard that have queer friendly restaurants, bars, or a situation. Here's what you need. Here's a list of what you need to pack on your cruise. Here's the hardest part about being on a cruise and how you can avoid it. Just different ideas of, yes, I helped you plan this, but also I'm going to go the step further. Because at the end of the day, the more we can love our customers, the more we can help them win, help them succeed. One, we will feel better about it. And two, the better experience they have will help make them a repeat customer. And even for the other example of the financial literacy thing, for financial literacy, are there small ways you can help them budget better or find discounts or find better ways to still become more literate and at the same time understand where their money's going and feel better about it. I know that sometimes, we get advice that just go on a super budget, cook all your food at home, do all these things. And it's helpful in some ways, but then it's like, I'm lowering my quality of life right now. And that doesn't always translate. So thinking of ways you can help them do what they need to do, but also experience what they want to experience. Yeah, so these are just a variety of other things you might want to add into your offer. Yeah, and I think one other strategy people use is to think of a name to give your people, because sometimes our brain likes the idea of identities. And how can I make my group of people, how do I make my customer feel that hero? Like, what does my customer want to call themselves? So like financially conscious, or like I'm saving for this trip, or I'm a official cruiser, or I'm a traveler, I'm a world traveler. So it's like, how do I help them like double down on that? And there are different things you can give. Like even with the travel agency, it's do you give them something for their luggage that they could put on top so they could find it easily if they have to like check their bags? What are just little things that help, or big things that help, that just keep things going on? Yes. So, and yeah, we can call some of those bonuses. And on this slide, the second one is probably the most important. There's a lot of things that people need, but for better or worse, as humans, we do what we want. Many of us know how to eat healthier, but we don't because we don't want to. Similarly, there are a lot of great ideas and great products that help people do what they need to do, but people don't want to do that. So sometimes there's this quote that says, sell people what they want and give them what they need. So there are times when, you're going to have to figure out that thing that people want, that thing they connect to emotionally, and then say, all right, here's how we can give you what you want. And I'm going to get you what you need because I believe in you and I believe in the product, but maybe I'm attracting you with what you want. So like one example is, if you've seen any of these diet commercials that happen on all media, it's always, you don't have to give up the foods that you love and you can still lose weight. And then they just say, okay, cool. You can have the cupcake, it costs this many points. And then the other times you'll say, cool, I'll do the salad because I don't have enough points to do that. And that's one way that people will say, we're getting what they want, right? Because you're not going to tell somebody, go full vegan, and then you'll lose weight, because that has its own things with it. But if you find ways to think about, okay, what do they want? If they still want to have a pizza, they still want to have a burger, it's going to be summertime. How can they do that, yet they can still lose weight, which is the goal that they want? So when it comes to like, either the cruise, like I keep going back to cruise. When it comes to traveling, it's how do I get them to have this awesome experience? And how do I make sure it's still safe? How do I make sure, okay, they want to visit these places and a cruise would be the best thing for them, but they're scared of, I don't know, meeting new people, or they're scared of something else. So it's like, maybe there's a group of people who go on cruises and you're able to say, hey, I know someone who's going to be there. I'm going to connect you to this bigger group so that you don't have to feel alone. And you're still going to go on the cruise and they might not even talk to them. But by having that extra thing on their side, that can definitely help. Yeah, so sort of the idea of bonuses are, I'm going to give you this, there's this main thing that you get, but there's this other thing that you really want. That's really cool. That's just, here's on top. Here's the extra t-shirt. Here's the extra something that's helpful. And then the last thing about bonuses that are great is objections. Everyone has it. For every, right? I don't want the salad because I don't want to pay $17 at Sweetgreen for that. I don't want to get on a budget because I like my own freedom. I don't want to go on a cruise because I get motion sickness or I'm scared, or I had a friend once who had a bad time. So it's like, how can I think of what those common objections are? Like, what are the reasons why someone wouldn't buy? And then maybe I need to create a bonus that helps overcome that objection. So like, how do I think about it? So like for the idea of like financial training, it's, okay, do I know people who can maybe give this person a discount at a place? It's like, you're going to get on a budget and somehow you also still got a Starbucks gift card. So it's like, you still get to do some Starbucks, or it's something better that people like. I think that is one way that you can help people make that decision. Because again, I take it back to what I said yesterday and what I believe. I believe all of you care about the people you are serving. And I want you, that you have good products and good ideas for them. So if your product is the best thing for them, your job in a way is to help them with that. One idea, one example I hear a lot is, if you have a dog and your dog is sick, your dog is not going to eat the pill that they need to eat. But if you put the pill in the peanut butter, your dog will say, your dog will like go for the peanut butter and then get the medicine that they need. So again, part of it is, I believe in working with integrity. And if you know that your customer wants to do this thing, says they want to do this thing, they want to get this result, they want to get this outcome, it's your job to say, here's what I can do to help you make this decision. And that's part of that is marketing and part of that is sales, but the idea is knowing what they really need and helping them as much as possible to make that right decision. And then, just like yesterday, every day should end with something like this: how to do it more authentically. So yesterday, one of the questions was, what's your vision for the LGBTQ plus community? And what's your vision for your business in the next 90 days? And again, a vision should be pulling you to something greater, making a good change in the world. So the question is, how can you make sure there's a clear line between your product and that vision? Because if there's a clear line in that product and that vision, there are some spaces where you can go and you can tell people that vision and they won't even know what your product is yet, but they're like, I'm signing up because I agree with that. When I think of the Gen Pop social app and how that can help everyday people understand legislation, comment on legislation, connect with other people who agree with them, and then make an impact on that. It's like you can go to someone and say, you know, the bill that's in Congress, here's a way that we can show our strength and stop it from passing, or help it to pass by showing that there are people around it. And they don't even know there's a website. They don't know like what's going on. Is it a march? No one knows. But if you are able to get that vision and share that and have that clear line between the two, they'll just see the dots and it'll be so much easier. And it'll be easier for you to talk about it. Sometimes there are people I meet who are possibly more introverted, or think marketing or sales is too hard and too complicated. But sometimes it's like, if you can focus on your vision and you just say that and then connect the dots to that, and then, you know, say your vision of this world you want to create or be in, and then say, here's how this thing gets me there, gets all of us there, and you can join. That, you know, takes away so much of the pressure. You don't have to come up with a cool slogan or do other things. It's like, I'm just pointing to this vision, and connecting it to this tangible product or service. 2, your customer is the hero. At work, I work with a lot of PhDs, and they are really smart people. I enjoy working with them, and I love the work that they do and how I'm able to support them. But sometimes they may go into a room or have a conversation or a presentation at a conference, and sometimes they talk in a way where it's, hey, I'm smart, I did the research, I know what I'm talking about, here's why I'm right. And then they sit down. And sometimes I'm like, I agree with you, but like, we can probably say this better. Sometimes, you know, you have to let your customer be the hero. You have to let the people you're selling to, you have to let your future customer understand that this is their win and you are just a support. There's this example I was thinking of the other day, and it's like, sometimes my office or people that I know, they want to be Superman. They want to be like, look at me, I'm Superman, I'm invincible, I can do it all, I am perfect, I don't need sleep. And here's why you should work with me. And I was like, sometimes that works. There are some people that resonates with. But I was like, you know what? Sometimes people just need to be Commissioner Gordon. And your customer is Batman. Batman's the cool one. Batman gets to do the fun things. Batman gets to fight crime, drive cool cars, have all the money. And Commissioner Gordon is just like, here's the information on the bad people. Here's what's going on. We're not sure what's happening. Commissioner Gordon is there to support you in doing what's going on. Because yeah, when your customers come to you, right, they're coming from wherever they are. So you need to make sure they are the hero. You need to be the Commissioner Gordon to their Batman. Because at the end of the day, we're all working towards this vision of a better world. And then the last thing, thinking of surprise and delight. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you just get something in the mail from someone and you're like, someone just sent me a thank you letter for no reason. Someone gave me a nice text message. Someone communicated this good thing. There were a couple programs that I joined, and, you know, 4 weeks later, I got something in the mail and it was like, oh, it's a journal, it's a notebook, this is cute. So thinking of ways you can, you know, add a little bit of a nice little touch, a little thing that surprises them. I think all of these are really good ways to sort of move forward and just reconnecting with the people who are our customers, right? At the end of the day, they are people. So yeah, I think that's different elements you can use to think of, okay, here's how this product is more me. Here's how it's more delightful. And, you know, when you talk to people, you have those values that I hope many of you were able to find some last night or come up with your own. You know, you might delight someone by expressing that value specifically in that extra thing. You're just like, you know what? I love flowers and I just sent you these flowers because, you know, it's springtime and I thought of you. You're a customer, you know, sending someone something if they're going to be traveling this season, you know, and if you give them something, even if they haven't, you know, they haven't booked their thing yet with you, but you still sent them something because it's summertime and people tend to travel in the summer. People like that little extra touch. Because yeah, at the end of the day, your offer, your product, yes, it might be a standalone something, but the way you offer it is how you get to stand out even more. This is how you get to, take more pride in that product, take more pride in that business. And especially when you're working with people, and people are nice. People are people. We all enjoy something, a little gift. We all enjoy being remembered. We all enjoy being fully seen and understood. So the more we can do that with and for our customers, the easier it'll be for them to come back to us, to refer us to other people, and to like take more pride in the product itself. So let's see. Okay, so it's sort of the end of today. So yeah, so always thinking about our product and offer. What problem does it solve for a customer? It's more than this, that product. It's what we bring to it, right? We bring this idea of our vision, we bring our values to it. So even if you are just getting someone to take a cruise somewhere, you're also getting more people to experience this big, awesome world we live in. And when you're talking with them, you can be putting that out there. Like, I already bought the cruise. You don't have to sell me. It's like, I know, but I just love it so much. What other bonuses can you provide to help them succeed? If you have extra things just to give them, that's cool. But if there are ways you can say, this will make your experience more successful when it comes to, financial representatives. I'm not an expert, but if there are things you can do that help them have maybe like an easy budget calculator, or a little training on how to use something like mint.com, so that mint.com does all the like stuff and they just have to like look at it and they can look at their spending. How can you find just little ways for them to be more engaged in the process and get that result that we all want them to have? Make them the hero, okay? They get to be Batman, you get to be Commissioner Gordon. I'll have to find new examples of that outside of the DC universe. But yeah, make them the hero. Let them know that their success is what you're here for, right? It's not the you show, it's the them show, and you're just supporting, helping them get there. And then, yeah, if the result of your product aligns with your vision and expresses your values, you will enjoy it more. You will be able to take way more pride in what you do. If someone paid you $1 million to sit down and push a button for 8 hours all day, I'm sure many of us would do it for some amount of time, but we wouldn't be able to do it forever, just because it doesn't express who we are. Pushing a button, it doesn't express our vision. So yeah, so that's today's summary. And I guess there's a quick story I want to share, because why not have yes, your homework is a bonus. Because to be fully honest, when I said you're going to leave this challenge with a custom marketing plan, in the back of my mind, it said, how are you going to do a custom plan for everybody who shows up? I'm not, we are. We get to do it. So at the end of the day, you all know your visions, you all know your value, and you know your business and your product much more than I do. So like, if you want a plan that's going to be helpful, you've got to be involved, especially because at the end of the day, you will be the one who sells it. You will be the one who will be out there. You will be the one who will have the website, have the conversations. And I am just going, if we continued working together, I would still be the one supporting you, but you would still be doing it. So at the same time, I want you to take these so that you can take those next steps, so that you can, even if you work with someone else at some point, you can say, all right, this is my vision and my values. These are the problems that I'm solving and the outcomes that I want for my customers. Help me make Facebook ads to promote this. Help me come up with a new campaign. Help me do my social media based on these foundations. So by doing those homeworks, you're going to get something that you can use, that you can show others. And I have this weird story, and I'm going to share it anyway because it's fun. So when I first was on my journey to come out, I knew no one. Everyone I knew growing up was Adventist, and it was 2006, and I did not know what to do. So in 2006 time, yeah, I went to Craigslist, and I was like in the seeking friends part, being like, I need gay friends. Let me know what this world is like. I don't have anyone. And I got a lot of spam, a lot of things that weren't what I was looking for either. And yeah, it was not a fun experience. But one day there was a person who said, hey, cool posts. Just moved to the area after my boyfriend graduated college. Yeah, I'm down to chat or whatever. So we chatted and they seemed cool. Seemed like they liked board games and hanging out, and they were sort of more homebodies. I wasn't 21 yet, so I couldn't really go to the gay bars, experience community. Um, so in our chats on AIM, probably, it was cool. They seemed like real people. And they were like, yeah, sometimes we invite people over to watch Project Runway. I know you live in Maryland, Justin, but if you came to watch it and the metro was closed, you can like stay on our couch. And in my mind, it's like, oh, I thought they were cool, but now it's like getting a little too, I don't know you yet. I don't know you. So like my objection radar was going up. But that same day, they were like, hey, I've got nothing to do. I'm going to be in DuPont Circle later if you want to hang out. So I decided, let's go. I've got nothing to lose. I have an afternoon to lose. That's not much. So I went out, we like caught up and got coffee or a smoothie. And they seemed cool. And it was like, okay. I also made plans to like go to the mall, and they lived near the mall in Virginia, and that's the closest mall to a metro. So we went down to the Pentagon City Mall, and I was getting some stuff for work. He left to go get food or hang out with his boyfriend. And then like 20 minutes later, he was like, hey, we got a bucket of Popeye's chicken and we're eating it at our apartment. It's a few blocks away. If you want to join, you can. And part of me was like, well, I'm already in Virginia, and if these are terrible people, I can give up on them. So I went to their house, and I walk in, I meet the boyfriend, they seem cool, they're like chickens in the fridge. I get a plate, and then as I come back to where the TV is in the entertainment center, they have every Nintendo system that had existed at the moment. So they had a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, 64, and a GameCube. And in my mind, I was like, I think I found my people. um, and what I like about that story, and then they had a wedding 5-10 years later, and I was a part of that. And now they live in Frederick and have a child who's just amazing. And when I think about that story is, I had a problem. I was looking for queer friends. They had an offer and it was friendship. But I still had my guard up. I wasn't ready. I was like, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons to not trust people. But like, they made the process easy. We met outside in a park and just had a good conversation. They invited me over for Popeyes, and I was like, oh, this is a cool little bonus. And I was like, I can experience a little bit of this. And then they had the games, and they mentioned the games, and I was like, you know what, I like this offer. I'm going to take you up on this. And wow, that was about 17 years ago. So when I think about offers, they come in many shapes and sizes. And, it was me having the courage to take that next step, but they also made it easy for me. I had my objections. I was like, I want friendship, but also like, I don't know. How do I trust? What do I do? And they made it easy. And then they had bonuses with the chicken. And also when they had their game systems out just in the thing, it was like, ooh, I resonate with that. Those values, this is cool. So when I think about us and our businesses and our products, how do we help other people have that experience? And I guess even now I'm thinking about, they made me the hero. They were like, come over for food, free, it's over there. Let's listen to you. Let's connect. How can we, right? Popeyes is a bonus. Like, let me know. how can we think of our businesses that same way? How can we make other people feel like the hero by knowing we understand them, by being able to say their problems in their words, by being able to create products that resonate, that solve their solutions, that aren't overly complex? How can we help them have as much success as possible? And then the last thing I'll do is share the shirt that I like to wear. It says change things. I hope you can see it. Yeah. And it's in the rainbow. When I think about businesses and queer entrepreneurs, I think that we get to change things. We get to create a business that helps make the world more inclusive, more affirming, more creative, more expressive. And we get to do that. So I am so glad for you all to be here today. And I forgot to ask about questions. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat as I also share the next homework assignment. Yeah. We almost ended the day without going to the homework. But yes, so the homework, these are the main questions. If you pull up the worksheet, you're going to get a couple other questions. But yeah, so what products or services does your business sell or offer? What are the top 3 to 5 problems that each product or service solves? What are the results or the tangible outcomes that your customer wants? So again, it's not, the customer doesn't want to be financially literate. Your customer wants to know where their money is going. So thinking about it, what does the customer actually want out of this? You know, I don't want a diet. I just want to go to the beach and feel cool. Yeah, like I don't want to sell it. I just, want to be under a certain number. So thinking about the result or the outcome in your customer's words from their perspective. And then how do your values connect to that? Because again, part of this is all building on each other. So by answering these questions, it just makes, when we really get into choosing a marketing strategy or thinking of some social media posts or thinking of a campaign to run, we'll be pulling from all of these questions. So nothing is wasted. It is all together. And I look forward to seeing what your answers are, seeing what problems you solve and thinking of ways that we might be able to, connect those dots. Because if you can connect your product to the things your customer wants right now, that right there, that's 89% of the marketing. The real challenge is when you can't connect the two, now your marketing has to do a big jump versus just here's what it is and here's how it helps you, and you just get to meet right there. So this is the homework for today. Let me go to the chat if you have any questions. I hope this link works. Yep, day 2 worksheet is pulling up. Awesome. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, so if you have any questions, I will leave that out for a couple seconds. And if not, we are able to end today on time. Okay, we're gonna end in about 20 seconds. Perfect. So sounds awesome. I will see you all tomorrow, same time. I look forward to seeing the homework assignments. And if you have any questions or anything about that, feel free to throw them in the Facebook or LinkedIn group, and we will connect later. Thanks again for showing up today, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye. Stop sharing and